There's only one thing more stressful than not having enough money. It's not having enough money and not being able to work out why. Maybe you have a relatively well-paid job, have some freelance work, maybe a couple of side hustles, maybe even run your own business. The money's coming in, but at the end of the month there's just nothing left over. And that can be so frustrating. Or maybe you've tried all of the advice from influencers in the finance space and given up your daily lattes, only to find yourself struggling even more. Maybe you spend when you're stressed and need to work out how to get on top of it. Or maybe you just want to get better with your finances to help you reach your goals quicker. All of this was me. In fact, it is me, and I want to take you through some of the simple rules I'm implementing in my life to become more financially literate and better with my own money. If you're new here, I'm Jess Shanahan, and I teach creative women to own their success and stop trading time for money. So first off, it's important to understand where your money comes from and where it goes. When you're stressing about money, and I'm so guilty of this, it's really easy to just bury your head in the sand. You don't look at your bank accounts, you don't see what bills are coming out. The only thing that you're focused on probably is when you're getting paid. I really have to battle against this tendency that I have, that actually a lot of people have, to just ignore it and hope that it goes away. I did this for years, and I can tell you now that it doesn't help. It hasn't helped me. In fact, it's really hindered me in reaching my goals. And I know that facing situations that make you scared or anxious or stressed can be difficult, but you will get used to it. You'll get used to looking at your finances and understand what's kind of happening on a day-to-day basis, but it will help you as well. When you start to kind of realize that, you'll see how powerful this is, and it will stop being a scary experience. So start really simple. If you are the type of person who is burying your head in the sand and you are doing this like I did for so many years, go with something simple. So whatever online banking you use, perhaps get their app and maybe get notifications or text messages when money comes in or out of your bank account. But if that feels like too much, then you can set up alerts for things like going into your overdraft or over your overdraft, and keep an eye on things that way. Try and set it up in a way that you feel comfortable with. You can always add more notifications or more information later on. Another thing that I've been using is an app called Snoop. Now, it connects to your bank, so it's really easy to set up. But it also tells you what your regular payments are. So this is really helpful for me because I'm able to look at that and know what regular payments I have coming out of my bank account. It really helps me plan for those bigger purchases or for my savings, or if I want to invest something. So what all of this information does is it allows you to be just more mindful of what's happening within your bank account. And by being more mindful, you can make better decisions, you can invest more, and you can just feel better about the state of your finances. Next up is to explore investing in a way that suits you. Now, if your goal is to save a lot of money, maybe buy something big like a house, then you need to start thinking about how you're going to invest your money. Now, if you're someone that is struggling to save, then investing might seem like it's a long way off. But bear with me here, because there are ways that you can start small. So there's a lot of noise around the FIRE movement, which stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. But it's so completely overwhelming if you feel like someone who is bad with money that it's really hard to even just dig into it. So I'm going to tell you what I did to get comfortable with investing, in the hope that it kind of gives you some kind of path to maybe something bigger in the future. But the point here is that you find what works for you. So in 2019, I knew that I needed to start investing my money because I was earning a lot of it, and I couldn't spend it all. And I knew that I shouldn't spend it all, and I was thinking about how I would potentially upgrade my house or buy a second property in the future. So I started with a stocks and shares ISA. I did a lot of research into this, and I felt like this was the best place for my money. And the nice thing about an ISA is that it's tax-free up to a certain point. So it's a good place to start. The stocks and shares part of this basically means that your money that you put into your ISA is then invested by the company, and you get the returns or the losses on that. Now, please bear in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not necessarily saying that this is the path that you should go down, but this is what worked for me. An ISA is a really good long-term investment plan if you're just starting out. So this was a really easy way for me to kind of play with the stock market, get a bit of a return on my money, and do something that felt kind of fun and almost risky. So although there is always risk involved with any kind of stocks and shares ISA or a stocks and shares pension, which I also have, it's a good way to start investing and start playing with the stock market if you're unsure about doing that in a more serious way. Then in March 2020, when the pandemic hit, I thought now was a great time with the stock market going down to invest some of my spare cash, and it wasn't very much. I decided to invest that into the stock market, and ultimately it paid off. And I now have a better understanding of how the stock market works. So I did all of this through the app Revolut, which I use for a lot of my kind of travel spending and my daily spending. So it's just one of those cards that you top up through your phone. But with my premium Revolut account, I'm able to invest in stocks. So I did a little bit of that, and like I said, it worked out really well. So more recently, I signed up to another app called Free Trade because a friend sent me a free share, which was really cool. And if you guys want a free share, you can just use my sign up link in the description below. If you do sign up using my code, you also get a free share. But I started using this app because it was a bit more kind of involved and sophisticated than just doing it through Revolut, which wasn't actually built for that. So I still have my money in stocks on Revolut, but now I have additional ones on Free Trade, and I'm keeping a more kind of close eye on the market and things like that through that app as well. So again, this is just the path I took. You might do something like go onto the Cedars website and invest in a company there. You might go stocks and shares ISA, you might just jump straight into stocks. But the point is, work out what works for you. Start small, only invest what you can afford, and don't take this as gospel. I'm not a financial advisor, these are just my experiences. And number 3, cut down on unnecessary expenses. Now, I almost didn't put this in because I think this trend of telling people to stop having their lattes and, cut down on eating out is super toxic. If you enjoy lattes, if you enjoy eating out, don't stop it. That doesn't make any sense. For most people, the whole point of earning money, investing it, saving it, is so that we can do the things that we love. And if the things that we love have to be sacrificed in order to do that, that makes no sense. So I'm caveating all of this with, don't cut out the things you love completely. You might want to cut down on them, sure, but don't cut them out. Don't listen to those people that say, yeah, you can just make your lattes at home, or instead of buying that expensive cold brew, you can just make it at home. No, go to your favourite coffee shop and buy their cold brew. If that's what you want to do, do that. Don't cut that out. It doesn't make any sense. However, all of this advice comes from a sensible place because many of us do have unnecessary expenses. So for me, there are a number of fantastic coffee places in Norwich where I live. And there's actually one quite close to me, so although I'm not going into the city centre at the moment, I can walk to a gorgeous coffee shop, so thank you Cofferer for being nearby. No matter how much I want to save money, I am never going to cut those coffees out. So think about what's an actual unnecessary expense for you, or what are expenses that you could happily cut down on. Do not remove those things from your life that bring you joy. Now, I'm able to earn enough as a full-time writer to be able to invest, do the things I enjoy, and not have to cut down too much on my expenses, but I'm still following these simple rules because I think it's so important to me to be better with my finances and more financially literate. All of that kind of comes down to this confidence that I've built in myself and my career over the years of doing this. It's really allowed me to see my worth as a writer, a coach, and a consultant. So if there is something that you feel like you need to work on, then you should check out this video where I talk about my journey to becoming a more confident person. I think it will help you. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments as well. If you have any thoughts on personal finance or even your own rules that you're following that might help me. So let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.